This story didn't just come out of nowhere. It didn't start in 2026, and it definitely didn't start with one viral photo, because what we're looking at right now is a situation years in the making, a story involving an NFL head coach, a high-profile insider, and a timeline that stretches back further than most people realize. This is the full breakdown of Vrabel and Dianna Russini. Who they are before diving into the controversy. It's important to understand who these two individuals are and why this story has drawn so much attention. First, there's Vrabel, a former NFL linebacker who built his reputation on toughness, intelligence, and leadership. He's a Super Bowl champion, known for his time with the New England Patriots as a player, and later for establishing himself as one of the league's most respected head coaches. After leading the Tennessee Titans for several seasons, he returned to become the head coach of the New England Patriots. Around the league, Vrabel is seen as a culture setter, a coach who demands accountability and earns the trust of his players. Then there's Dianna Russini, a highly recognizable figure in NFL media. Russini built her career through years of reporting at ESPN before moving to The Athletic, where she became one of the most connected insiders in the sport. Known for breaking news, building strong relationships across the league, and delivering behind-the-scenes insight, she's widely viewed as a credible and influential voice in football coverage. On paper, these are two professionals operating at the highest level of their respective fields, one on the sidelines, the other in the media. But what makes this story more compelling is this: their paths didn't just cross recently, they intersected long before the public ever paid attention. The first signs, 2020. Let's rewind the timeline. March 11th, 2020, a night in New York City inside a bar that, at the time, carried no significance beyond an ordinary social setting. Nothing about the evening seemed unusual. No headlines, no attention, no public curiosity. It was just another night, until it wasn't. Years later, photos from that night resurfaced, and when they did, they immediately changed the tone of the story. The images appeared to show Vrabel and Dianna Russini in a notably close interaction. Some interpretations of the photos suggested an intimate moment, with speculation pointing to what looked like a kiss. Whether accurate or not, the perception was enough to ignite attention once the images became public. At that point in time, Vrabel was married. Russini would also go on to marry her husband later in 2020, so when these photos were taken, both individuals were publicly committed to their respective partners. Yet despite that detail, nothing happened publicly at the time. The images remained private, effectively forgotten or undiscovered for years. Then, in 2026, they resurfaced, and everything changed. Reconnection, 2024. Fast forward, January 2024 marks a major turning point in the career of Vrabel. After a long tenure leading the Tennessee Titans, he is officially fired, a moment that shifts his entire professional trajectory and leaves questions about what comes next. It's a significant reset point, a high-profile exit, the kind of moment that changes not just a job, but the entire direction of a career. Then, just weeks later, something unexpected happens. Vrabel is spotted again with Dianna Russini. This time, the setting is a casino in Mississippi. According to witnesses, the interaction appears relaxed. They are seen together in a way that suggests ease between them, talking, spending time, and appearing at peace in each other's presence. Despite the renewed attention, nothing is officially confirmed. There is no public statement acknowledging a relationship, no formal clarification, no definitive explanation. The speculation begins to grow again. Because in moments like this, people naturally start connecting dots, especially when past images and present encounters start to form a timeline that feels continuous. But even with all the attention, the reality remains unclear. There is no confirmed narrative, only questions. Was this simply a coincidental reconnection between two public figures crossing paths at different points in their lives? A new chapter, 2025. Then comes 2025. Vrabel is hired as head coach of the Patriots, and immediately, success, massive turnaround, playoff run, even a trip to the Super Bowl. Everything is trending upward. Meanwhile, Russini is building her brand at The Athletic. Both are thriving, both are visible, both are around the NFL world constantly, and yet, no public link between them. Resignation, April 14th, 2026. Just 1 week after the photos, Dianna Russini resigns from The Athletic. Now this is big, because resignations don't happen over nothing. Even if she denied the narrative, the pressure was real, and the fallout immediate. More photos surface. Just when it seemed like things might slow down, they got worse. April 23rd, 2026. During the NFL draft, more images are released, including the 2020 bar photos, evidence suggesting a longer timeline. Now the story story changes. This is no longer about one trip. It becomes, how long has this been going on? The NFL draft impact at the same time. The NFL draft is happening, and Vrabel, he's not fully present. He reportedly misses time during the draft to deal with the situation and seek counseling. Think about that. One of the most important events of the NFL calendar, and the Patriots head coach steps away. That tells you everything about how serious this became. Public fallout, the media reaction, massive. Players are asked about it. Fans react. Debates explode across TV and social media. Players publicly back their coach. Titans connection theory. Then another layer begins to surface, one that adds even more intrigue to the situation. Some reports have suggested that this story may not be as recent as it first appeared. Instead, there are claims that elements of the situation could date back to Tennessee Titans era, during the time Mike Vrabel was still leading the organization. Now, it's important to be clear, this part remains unconfirmed and firmly in the realm of speculation. There is no verified evidence publicly establishing that anything inappropriate was known or addressed during that period. However, the idea alone adds a new dimension to how people interpret the timeline. Because if there were earlier signs, it raises bigger questions. Was this something that developed over time, largely out of the public eye? Or are people now connecting dots that don't actually belong together? That's the challenge with situations like this. Once new information emerges, past moments get re-examined through a different lens. And suddenly, what may have once seemed unrelated starts to feel connected, even if it isn't. So for now, this Titans connection remains a theory, not a confirmed chapter of the story. Media versus reality. This is where things get complicated, because not everything that's reported automatically becomes fact. In the middle of all the headlines and speculation, Dianna Russini has pushed back on the narrative, denying claims of an affair and describing the coverage as misleading and lacking proper context. And that response matters, because stories like this don't just live in facts, they live in perception. Once images circulate and timelines are pieced together publicly, people begin forming conclusions long before every detail is verified. Why this story blew up. Let's be honest, why did this become such a huge story? A head coach and a top reporter. That raises ethical questions instantly. Timeline photos spanning years. That changes everything. Timing right before and during the NFL draft. Maximum visibility. This wasn't just a story, it was the story. Final thoughts. The story of Mike Vrabel and Dianna Russini isn't simple. It's layered, it's messy, and it's still unfolding, because even though the headlines may slow down, the consequences, they don't disappear overnight. In the NFL, everything is about control. Control of the game, control of the narrative, control of the locker room. But sometimes, the story gets bigger than all of it. And when that happens, even the most powerful figures in football can't control what comes next.